Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you, Dee Dee. Um, as Dee Dee mentioned, my name is Reagan Satterwhite. I'm the Executive Advisor of the Office of Career and Technical Education. Holly will be our new data manager that will be with us incoming May 1st. We're excited to have her join our team. And then we also have with us today Amy Tracy, our KTS Data Exchange System Consultant. So Amy has been involved in this work and can answer any questions as well. First, I want to give a background of kind of why some of these new changes are being brought about. Before I get into the information that's on this slide, some previous background into legislation that took place in the 2022 legislative session was actually Senate Bill 59. Senate Bill 59 added work-based learning as a measure of accountability in Kentucky's accountability system for post-secondary readiness through a career readiness option. Apprenticeships had historically been a measure of accountability in the system, but in 2022, the legislator added cooperative education courses, or those are otherwise known as co-ops, and internships to the indicators. New legislation, this most recent session, changed the language just a bit to indicate that co-ops and internships did not have to be limited only to those courses. And so this has tasked us with coming up with another option for co-op and internship experiences that do not have a course code associated with them. That legislation also removed the requirement that hours that were earned towards that indicator had to be taken place during the regularly scheduled school year. So effective immediately, any hours at any time of day on any day of the year will be able to count for the coursework that meets the requirements for that indicator. And so the passage of Senate Bill 25, to break it down, means that the following methods are valid to demonstrate post-secondary readiness through the work-based learning indicator. The first is that indicator that has been there, Kentucky Department of Education approved or Labor Cabinet approved apprenticeship. This is an apprenticeship through Kentucky's TRACK program that stands for Tech Ready Apprenticeships for Careers in Kentucky. And the measure of that indicator is that students receive a TRACK certificate after they've successfully completed that program. The new piece of this legislation is that successfully completing a Kentucky Board of Education approved co-op or internship that is aligned with a credential or associate degree and which provides a minimum of 300 hours of on-the-job work experience. So what does this mean? The Office of Career and Technical Education, with a lot of help from the Division of Data Services and Infinite Campus, has developed a data collection system for on-the-job hours of work experience that are associated with a course code for a co-op or a course code for an internship. So this is many different course codes and many different pathways. As long as they are identified as a co-op or an internship, they will be eligible for this indicator. That work-based learning tab in IC will be available in May, and in just a minute, Holly's going to walk you through exactly what that tab will look like. Available data submitted by July 31st each year will be used in that year's fall accountability reporting. And so the Office of Career and Technical Education has been providing guidance to schools throughout this school year that they should be documenting the hours that students have been working in the 2022-2023 school year, so that when this tab is released or when this system is released in Infinite Campus in just a few weeks, schools will be ready to import student data. The second piece of that legislation is coming. The Kentucky Board of Education and the department are working to establish minimum criteria for approval of co-ops and internships that don't have a course code. So we're kind of calling that exceptional co-ops or exceptional internships. And so we'll publish further guidance and provide that to districts once we've received input from the local superintendent's advisory council. And then that process has been approved and established by the Kentucky Board of Education. Kicking it off to you now, Holly.
Thank you, Reagan. Okay. So I will be covering the work-based learning, career readiness work-based learning tool and report. And when I say tool, I also mean the tab. It is currently a tab in Infinite Campus in the classic look, but as Infinite Campus goes to the new look, it will be a tool that you're using. It won't necessarily be in a specific tab. The Career Readiness Work-Based Learning Tool and Report will be available in the Campus 2315 release, which we are taking early, so it will be available. We're taking it April 26th, which is next Wednesday, so districts will be able to utilize that the morning of April 27th. Career Readiness records are input in the Career Readiness tab under Program Participation in Infinite Campus. These records will then pull on the Career Readiness Report under Kentucky State Reporting. Districts must grant the appropriate tools in order to use the Career Readiness tool and to access the Career Readiness Report. As for the tool, districts may choose to not give delete access to everyone. The Career Readiness tool provided in Campus is used to view, enter, track, and report data related to students participating in work-based learning programs that qualify for post-secondary readiness through a career readiness indicator, which are cooperatives or co-ops and internships. This screenshot is an overview of what the work-based learning records will look like on the student's career readiness program tab. When you pick the calendar year, it will show the records associated with that year. You can see the start date, end date, credit hours earned, career cluster, and career type. If there are multiple records, they will show in this tab. If you are creating a new record, click the New button at the bottom of the screen. In order to limit the records for a specific year, use the calendar year filter, which is outlined there in red on the screenshot. If you want to see all records from multiple years, leave the calendar year filter blank. When creating a new work-based learning record, this is a screen that will need to be filled out. I do want to make note that the Career Readiness Work-Based Learning tool is a core product for all campus customers. Kentucky is focused on collecting the student's program information. So first, input the start date of the program, and then you can use the drop-down list to select the work-based learning type, course date code, aligned credentials, or associate's degree hours completed. There is a pass checkbox on the screen to indicate whether the student passed program requirements or not. The course date code will be used to search the transcript for credits earned. You can also select up to 5 course date codes if needed. Students who need a work-based learning record are any students who are in a CTE co-op or internship course or the experience-based work course code that have achieved at least 300 hours. In addition, there is an optional section at the bottom as of the screenshot you can see there to input employer information if you choose. All right, moving on to the Career Readiness Report. This report will be stored under Kentucky State Reporting in Infinite Campus. This is essentially a 2-in-1 report. In the extract type dropdown, you can choose either the validation report or the career readiness report. Please be aware that the screen automatically defaults to the validation report. You can view this report in either a CSV format or an HTML. Option to choose a specific grade or all grades, and you can select to view either one calendar or all calendars. Now, the validation report will specify errors on students' career readiness records so the errors can be researched. It includes 2 errors. Career readiness records with work-based learning hours, but do not have a course date code. And a career readiness record with an approved course date code, but do not have a matching transcript record. The career readiness report will pull all students who have a career readiness record in the district tied to an approved course date code or career readiness record with hours attached. The report will not honor exclusions on calendars, grade levels, or enrollments. It will pull students in their last active primary, partial, or special education enrollment in their requested calendars for the reporting year. I also want to make note that area technology centers, or ATCs, will need to track work-based learning for those students who complete their requirements at the ATC and not the home high school. All right, so we've left a little bit of time for questions if we have any of those. We have also put our contact information on here if there are any questions that districts want to reach out about.
So we do have one question here, and can you give us an example of a likely exceptional cooperative or internship?
Sure, Dee Dee, I can answer that. So exceptional co-ops or internships, and in a perfect setting, this would be, or in a perfect example, would be perhaps a student that has been involved in a career and technical education pathway that has received work in the path, or that has received instruction in the pathway and has learned in their pathway, but maybe does not have room in their schedule to participate in a co-op or an internship, or perhaps they're not able to leave school during the school day to participate. And so, or maybe they're in sports. So maybe this is a job that they have on the weekends, or a job that they work in the summer that is aligned to the pathway that they are in, but is not reflected in a course on a student's schedule. And so the Kentucky Board of Education, the KDE, are working on what the minimum criteria will look like in order for schools to apply for students to be accepted for the exceptional work-based learning approval. There's many things to think about, including making sure that the district is covered by all liability, making sure that the student is safe, looking at the work-based learning manual to ensure that all of the laws and components are followed. And then, of course, since it is school accountability, making sure that the school is still involved. And this is not just students that have a summer job that the school doesn't have any kind of association with, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Got one more question. It didn't come in through Soapbox, but it was brought to me, it was sent to me, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it anyway. If the work-based learning is tracked at the ATC, how does that go back to the high school for accountability?
And so the difference here is that the students' accountability will follow their home high school. And so when a student has earned an industry certification, that would be the same. When a student has earned or passed an end of program assessment, that's going to be the same way as this new indicator of work-based learning would count for the school.
But how does that indicator get back to it? Is it through the KTS data exchanges? I think what they want to know.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Or Amy, do you have anything that you could clarify on that one, since you work with the data exchange a little bit more?
I'm not sure that it would go through the data exchange. I think it would be more like the industry cert. It's attached to the state student ID number. So when they earn that industry cert, it attaches to that student, and that student is attached to their home high school, and it goes that way. And
Will
I
it go
would
through
think,
the TED system in that circumstance?
I don't know that it'll go through the TED system, but I think it would work the same way.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's a good question. Maybe something we need to look into a little bit further. Any other? We don't have any other questions right this moment. It is time, so appreciate you all being a part of this training session today and providing some good information. Thank you very much.